Stop to see, instead of running after. Let me ask you a question, and please, don't answer too quickly, just let it land. When was the last time you truly stopped, not paused for a moment, not took a breath between two emails, not collapsed into your bed at the end of a long day? I mean stopped, completely, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, stopped, to listen, stopped to see. You see, in today's world, we've been trained to move. From the moment we open our eyes, we're already behind schedule, behind someone else, behind the version of ourselves we think we should already be. So we run, we chase promotions, we chase relationships, we chase validation, pleasure, peace, we even chase happiness, and yet, somehow, we never arrive. We scroll faster, we multitask harder, we manifest more, we hustle harder, but in this constant movement, we forget something very important. We were never meant to run endlessly. We were meant to wake up. You see, there's a secret hidden in the silence of ancient temples, in the breath of every monk sitting still, in the footsteps of the Buddha himself. That secret is this: truth is not somewhere far away, it's not hidden in the future, it's not waiting for you at the end of the path, it's here, it's now, but you have to stop, to see it. Now, I get it, stopping feels terrifying, because stopping means you might have to face yourself. Stopping means the world might move on without you. Stopping feels like failure in a world obsessed with progress. But what if I told you, stopping is not the end, stopping is the beginning. When you stop, you start to feel again. You hear the birds, you notice your breath, you see the sunlight crawling across the wall in your bedroom, you remember how long it's been since you felt truly alive, and more than anything, you begin to remember who you are, without all the chasing. Let me share something a Zen master once said: you don't need to run after enlightenment, you only need to stop long enough to let it catch you. Isn't that beautiful? We run and run, thinking we'll find peace at the end of the road, when peace has been quietly sitting at the beginning all along, waiting for us to notice. This video isn't a tutorial, it's not a quick fix, and it's definitely not just content to consume while you're doing something else. This is a pause, an invitation, a small crack in the noise, where silence begins to seep through, and in that silence, you might just begin to hear the truth your soul has been whispering for years. So, here's what we're going to do together. Over the next few chapters, we'll journey into the depths of why we chase, why it never fulfills us, and how Buddhist wisdom shows us another way, a way of being, not just doing. We'll explore what it really means to stop, to see, to be present, to live from the inside out. We'll share stories of transformation, timeless teachings, and practices you can bring into your everyday life, so you don't just understand the Dharma, you actually live it. If you've ever felt like you're chasing life but missing it, if you're tired of being tired, if you've sensed, deep in your gut, that there must be more to this human experience than just running on a treadmill that leads nowhere, then this video is for you. So breathe, not just with your lungs, but with your heart, with your presence. Let this moment, right now, be the moment you finally choose to stop, and to see. Not of a monk, not of a Buddha, but of someone just like you. His name was Evan, a 32-year-old marketing executive, smart, driven, charismatic. He had the kind of life people dream of: a downtown apartment, a luxury car, weekend getaways to Bali and Barcelona, Instagram perfect, LinkedIn polished, everything on the surface gleaming, but underneath, he was running. It started in high school. Every A was a step toward a scholarship, every scholarship was a step toward a real job. Every job interview was a race against time, and when he finally landed that six-figure position, he didn't pause. He didn't celebrate, he just looked up, and set a new goal: always more. Always next. Always not enough. Once I hit this benchmark, he told himself, then I'll finally be at peace. But peace never came, because peace was always placed just one milestone away. He became a master of to-do lists, he had apps to track his productivity, he listened to audiobooks on 2x speed while working out, cooking, and replying to emails. Even rest had to be efficient, even sleep had to be optimized. and then came the panic attacks, first, once a month, then, once a week, then. Every day, he started waking up at 3 a.m., chest tight, heart racing, wondering why he couldn't breathe even though everything in his life looked perfect. So, like many of us, he did the only thing he knew how to do. He ran harder, until one morning, it all fell apart. It was a regular Monday, traffic. Coffee. Calendar full, but something inside him cracked wide open. He was sitting in his corner office, staring at his triple monitor setup, emails pinging, Slack messages popping, but his eyes blurred, his breath caught in his chest, and suddenly, he couldn't remember why he was doing any of it. He stood up, left the building, and walked, no destination. No goal. Just walked. And that walk led him to a park, nothing special, just a small patch of green tucked between buildings, but in that park, under a quiet maple tree, he sat down. And for the first time in years, he stopped, no phone, no schedule, no metrics to hit, just breath, birdsong, sunlight filtering through leaves, and something incredible happened in that stillness. He saw how much of his life had been lived on autopilot, how even his dreams weren't really his, they were society's, how every next step was just another way to avoid sitting with himself, and beneath all the noise, he saw something even deeper, a quiet longing to be free. That day, Evan didn't become a monk. He didn't delete his social media or move to a mountain cave, but he began something far more radical. He began the practice of stopping. He started waking up early, not to work, but to sit. He began eating slowly, tasting his food instead of just consuming it. He walked without headphones. He learned to breathe with his full awareness, and in that breathing, he began to come home. He discovered books by Thich Nhat Hanh, Ajahn Chah, the Buddha himself, not as theories, but as lifelines, each line a thread pulling him out of the race, and into the present moment. One day, while meditating by that same tree, he whispered to himself, "I spent years running toward a future that never arrived, when all I needed was already here. Now." Why am I telling you this story? Because Evan isn't unique, his story is our story. Maybe not the office, not the job title, not the name, but the feeling, that deep, invisible pressure to keep running. You feel it, don't you? That quiet voice that says, if I stop, I'll fall behind. If I rest, I'll lose. If I'm not constantly moving, I don't matter. But what if that voice is lying? What if the race you're in was never yours to begin with? The Buddha said, craving is the root of suffering. And craving isn't always about money or fame. Sometimes it's just the craving to be someone, to become, to prove, to arrive. But what if you're already enough, exactly as you are? We'll explore that more in the next chapter, but for now, just breathe. Let Evan's story be a mirror, not to judge yourself, but to gently ask, what are you running from, and what would happen if you stopped? Why do we keep running, even when we're exhausted, even when we know deep down it's not making us happier, even when we sense we're only running in circles? Why? Let's pause and look deeper, not just through psychology, not just self-help, but through the timeless clarity of Buddhist insight, because if there's one thing the Buddha understood with crystal clarity, it's the nature of the human mind, and the reason why we suffer. In the second noble truth, the Buddha said, the origin of suffering is craving. That's the root, not stress, not time, not your boss, not even your childhood. Craving. But what is craving, really? It's not just desire. It's not about wanting chocolate or a new pair of shoes. Craving, in the Buddhist sense, is the feeling that this moment is not enough, that you must chase something, anything, to make it whole. Let's break it down. There are three kinds of craving the Buddha described: craving for sensual pleasure, the taste, the touch, the dopamine hit; craving for becoming, wanting to become someone, reach something, achieve more; craving for non-becoming, the desperate wish to escape, numb, or annihilate our current state. Sound familiar? Most of us live inside the craving to become. We want to become successful, become respected, become loved, become somebody. Even in spiritual circles, we want to become enlightened, peaceful, awakened. But here's the catch: the more you chase becoming, the more you reinforce the idea that you are not enough right now, and that's where the race begins. Think about your own life. When you wake up in the morning, what's the first thing your mind reaches for? A goal, a worry, a future that hasn't arrived yet? That's craving. Ajahn Chah once said, if you let go a little, you'll have a little peace. If you let go a lot, you'll have a lot of peace. If you let go completely, you'll be free. But most of us don't know how to let go, because we don't even know what we're holding on to. Take Maya, for example, a school teacher who began practicing mindfulness after a painful divorce. She thought meditation would help her feel calm, but what she discovered shocked her. She realized she wasn't just chasing success or love, she was addicted to the idea of becoming better. Better than her past, better than her younger self, better than what others saw, and that constant pressure to be better was the very thing keeping her stuck. So what did she do? She stopped trying to be better. She just Saturday, with the breath, with her broken heart, with the silence, and something unexpected happened. In the letting go came clarity, in the stillness came peace. This is the paradox the Buddha taught. We think we must do more to be free, but often freedom begins when we stop doing, stop chasing, stop fixing, stop trying to become anything other than what we already are. Let me say that again: you don't need to become someone, you only need to come home to yourself. Now, you might be wondering, if I stop striving, won't I become lazy or fall behind? It's a common fear, and that's why the Buddha didn't teach passive giving up. He taught right effort, a gentle, mindful, compassionate way of living that doesn't come from craving, but from presence. When your actions come from awareness, not ambition, from compassion, not comparison, from wholeness, not hunger, that's when life transforms, because you're no longer acting from lack, you're acting from clarity. This shift changes everything. You go from reacting to responding, from racing to resting in the now, from proving your worth to living your truth. And the irony, when you stop chasing, what you were seeking often finds you, like a butterfly landing gently on your shoulder, not because you ran after it, but because you finally stood still long enough for it to know you were safe to land. In Buddhist practice, this is called samasati, right mindfulness. It means being fully here, not as a performance, not to improve, but to truly see things as they are, without distortion. And when we do that, when we stop running and open our eyes to this very moment, we begin to touch what the Buddha called nibbana, the unconditioned, the deathless, the peace that surpasses all understanding. So I want to invite you now, just for a moment, to feel your breath, right now. Don't change it. Don't improve it, just notice it, feel it enter, feel it leave, feel the miracle of being alive. This moment doesn't need to be fixed, it just needs to be felt, and in that simple awareness, you are free. You've been told to chase your dreams, to hustle harder, to never settle, to go big or go home. But what if chasing comes with a cost you don't see until it's too late? Let me tell you about Naomi. She was 27, a content creator with nearly 1 million followers. On the outside, she was thriving, brand deals, viral videos, interviews, adoration. But inside, she was drowning. Every morning she woke up with anxiety. What should I post today? What if I'm not relevant anymore? What if I don't grow? Her mind was caught in an endless loop. Metrics, comments, likes. It wasn't just her career anymore, it was her identity. She couldn't take a walk without thinking of content. She couldn't enjoy a meal without filming it. She couldn't rest, because rest meant she was falling behind. If I'm not creating, I'm disappearing. That was her mantra, and that belief cost her more than sleep. It cost her peace, it cost her joy, it cost her presence. This is what the Buddha meant when he spoke of dukkha, the subtle dissatisfaction that underlies our every pursuit. It's not always screaming, sometimes it whispers, "You're not there yet. Keep going. Not enough. Not enough. Not enough." And that's the trap. We chase the horizon thinking it's just 1 mile further, but every time we get closer, it moves. Because the horizon was never meant to be reached, it was meant to reflect the illusion that fulfillment lies somewhere else. Let's bring this home. Have you ever worked so hard for something, a degree, a promotion, a dream body, only to arrive and feel strangely empty? You celebrate, sure, but soon after, the same voice returns, okay. What's next? That's the price of chasing. It's not just exhaustion, it's disconnection from the now. You miss sunsets while chasing spotlights. You miss laughter while scrolling for likes. You miss your own heartbeat, because you're too busy performing for others. And worst of all, you miss your life. The Zen saying puts it simply. When walking, walk. When eating, eat. But most of us, we scroll while eating, we text while walking, we plan tomorrow while missing today, we live everywhere. But here, let's be honest, no one lies on their deathbed wishing they'd answered more emails, hit more deadlines, or grown more followers. What we long for at the end, is what was available the whole time: stillness, love, meaning, connection, and yet, we trade those things every day, for a momentary sense of progress. We live like we're running out of time, but ironically, it's our chasing that wastes the most of it. In Buddhist philosophy, this cycle of chasing is called samsara. The endless wandering. Fueled by ignorance and craving, it's not just about being reborn in future lives, it's about the way we're reborn in stress every single day, because we've forgotten how to just be. A John Brown once joked, the problem with chasing happiness, is you run right past it. Happiness isn't down the road, it's not in a bigger salary or a bigger audience, it's here, but only if you're here to meet it. So what happens when we stop chasing? We begin to feel the weight we've been carrying, the tension in our shoulders, the restlessness in our breath, the ache in our chest from years of trying to be somebody. And when we stay with that, not escape it, not run, but meet it with gentleness, something profound begins to shift. The pain becomes our teacher, the stillness becomes our medicine, and the present becomes enough. Thich Nhat Hanh wrote, "You have an appointment with life. In this very moment, if you miss it, you may never find it again." How many moments have we missed? How many more are we willing to sacrifice, for a version of ourselves we don't even recognize? Naomi, she took a break, deleted her apps, and at first it felt like withdrawal, but then, she heard the birds again, she reconnected with her art, not to sell it, but to feel it, she cried, she healed, she stopped chasing, and found something more valuable than fame, peace. This is not about quitting your job or burning your goals, it's about learning the lost art of stopping, because if you can stop, just for a moment, you might discover that everything you've been searching for is already here. We've talked about the chase, the endless striving, the race toward goals, the illusion of progress, but what if the answer lies in something much simpler, something many of us have forgotten to do? What if the act of stopping, not running, not striving, but truly stopping, is the key to everything you've been searching for? This is the art of stopping to see. In Buddhism, there's a practice called zazen, sitting meditation, but here's the twist. It's not just about sitting, it's about being still, truly still, in body, mind, and heart. Now, let's be clear, this is not about achieving some grand state of calm. It's not about perfecting your posture or breathing for hours. It's about stopping long enough to see what's really going on inside and outside of you. Let me share a story to illustrate this. There was a man named Taro. He was a busy executive, climbing the corporate ladder. Every day was a blur, meetings, emails, numbers, deadlines. He would often think, if I just work a bit harder, I'll get to the top and then everything will make sense. But it never did. One day, while driving to work, he noticed an old man sitting by the roadside, not doing anything, just sitting, staring at the sky. Something about that stillness struck him. Taro pulled over. He walked up to the man and asked, "Why aren't you doing anything? Don't you have somewhere to be?" The old man smiled and said, "I've learned that sometimes, the most important thing, is to stop running and just see." Taro was taken aback. The old man continued, "You've been running for so long, but have you ever stopped to truly see where you are?" Taro stood there in silence. He realized that in all his years of running, he had never really seen. The truth is, most of us live our lives on autopilot. We wake up, rush through the day, and go to bed with the sense that we've done something, but not knowing what. It's the feeling of being busy but not alive. Buddha once said, "The mind is everything. What you think, you become." This is why stopping to see is so powerful. It brings you back to the present moment, where your mind can awaken to the richness of life right in front of you. Let's practice together for a moment, wherever you are. Take a deep breath, feel the air fill your lungs, notice the weight of your body, feel the ground beneath your feet or the chair supporting you. Stop for just a few seconds, and let the world be as it is, without trying to change a thing. Can you feel the shift, the quietness that begins to emerge? This is the beginning of stopping to see. When you stop, you're not just stopping external actions, you're stopping the chatter of the mind. Buddha called this monkey mind, the constant jumping from thought to thought, from worry to distraction. To stop means to break free from that cycle. It means becoming aware of the thoughts as they arise, and letting them go instead of clinging to them. In the silence, you begin to see what's hidden beneath the surface. You begin to see your fears. You begin to see your desires. You begin to see your attachments. You begin to see your true nature. And when you see that, you can finally stop running from it. Thich Nhat Hanh, a beloved Zen master, once said something profound. When you are mindful, you stop. You don't chase. You don't run. You simply are. This is the essence of mindfulness. It's the practice of being present, not somewhere else, but here with your breath, here with your thoughts, here with the world unfolding as it is. Think about it. How many times do we rush through life, hoping for something better to come along, while missing the beauty in this moment? How many sunsets have you missed while staring at your phone? How many conversations have you half listened to while thinking of your next task? How many walks have you taken while your mind raced ahead? The practice of stopping doesn't mean doing nothing. It's a deep awareness of what's happening right now. It's the opposite of multitasking. It's about singular focus, not 1,000 distractions. When you stop, you see the world clearly. You see your thoughts, your emotions, your relationships, and the simplicity of being alive. One of the most powerful experiences in stopping to see is learning to witness your thoughts without judgment. Normally, we react to everything. We react to stress, to anger, to worry. We cling to joy and chase happiness. But when you stop, you observe, without getting involved, you begin to understand that thoughts are just thoughts. They come. They go. They don't define you. You are not your thoughts. You are not your emotions. You are the awareness watching them. And that's when freedom begins. When you stop, you create space between you and your thoughts. And in that space, you find your true self, not the self caught in the race, but the self that is peaceful, present, and whole. The practice of stopping to see is not about running away from life. It's about meeting life exactly as it is, without fear, without judgment. Because when you truly see, you stop running, you stop craving. And for the first time, you can finally rest. We've walked the path of chasing, we've felt the weight of constant striving, we've learned the importance of stopping. But here's the next step in the journey. What happens when we stay present? What happens when we embrace the now without running away? This is where the magic happens. When we stop running, when we stop searching for happiness outside of us, we make room for something beautiful to unfold. We make room for presence. Let me tell you a story of Maya, a woman. Just like so many of us, busy, distracted, pulled in every direction by the demands of life, she was constantly multitasking. She cooked dinner while checking emails. She answered calls while making grocery lists. She rushed through everything, from meetings to relationships, always thinking about the next thing on her to-do list. But one day, while walking home from work, something strange happened. She found herself walking past a small park. Nothing special, really, just a little patch of green in the middle of the city. But something caught her attention. She saw an elderly man sitting on a bench, looking out at the trees. He wasn't doing anything. He wasn't on his phone. He wasn't in a rush. He was simply there, fully present in that moment. For a split second, Maya had the urge to keep walking, to continue with her day, to get home and check off the next item on her list. But then she paused, she decided to stop. Maya sat down on the bench next to the old man. She didn't know why. It wasn't like she had any pressing reason to be there, but as she sat, she began to notice the world around her, the sound of the wind in the trees, the softness of the sunlight on her face, the rhythm of her breath. For the first time in a long while, Maya felt peace, she felt stillness, she felt like she was finally here. Not in the past, not in the future, but in this single moment. Buddha taught that the present moment is all we ever have, it's the only place where life truly happens, it's the only moment where you can touch joy, love, connection. But for many of us, the present moment is elusive, it slips through our fingers as we chase after the next thing, the next goal, the next achievement. But when you stop to see, you discover something remarkable. You discover that in the present moment, there is enough, there is peace, there is love, there is life. Do you remember the last time you were truly present? Maybe it was when you held the hand of a loved one. Maybe it was when you listened to your child's laughter. Maybe it was when you felt the warmth of the sun on your face or the cool breeze on your skin. In those moments, you didn't need to chase anything, you didn't need to strive, you simply were, and in that simple being, you touched something eternal. This is the gift of presence, it's the ability to fully experience each moment as it is, without judgment, without expectation. You don't have to be anywhere else, you don't need to be doing anything else, you are enough as you are, right here, right now. Now, let's explore how to practice this presence in your everyday life. First, it starts with awareness. Take a moment each day to pause and take in your surroundings. Not just with your eyes, but with all your senses. What do you hear? What do you feel? What do you smell? When you give yourself the gift of awareness, you open up the richness of the moment. You realize that there's so much more happening than you've been noticing. Let's practice it together. Stop whatever you're doing right now. Take a deep breath in. Feel the air fill your lungs. Now, listen. What sounds do you hear? The hum of the world. The rustle of the wind. Can you hear the silence between the sounds? Can you feel your body? Your feet on the ground? Your hands resting at your sides? Can you feel your heartbeat? This is the gift of being present. When you stop to truly feel, you realize that you are part of it all. You are connected to this moment, to this world, to everything. As we practice presence, something remarkable happens. We begin to see that everything is interconnected, the trees, the sky, the people around us. The thoughts in our minds, they are all part of the same unfolding now. Another beautiful aspect of presence is the ability to let go. When you're present, you realize that you don't need to hold on to the past or worry about the future. The past is gone, and the future is unknown. The only place where you can truly live is here. This is why the practice of stopping to see is so powerful. It's not just about slowing down, it's about reconnecting to life itself. It's about choosing to show up, to be present, to embrace each moment as it comes. The more you practice presence, the more you'll begin to notice what really matters. The small moments, the ones we often overlook, become the most precious. The smile of a stranger, the feeling of rain on your skin, the warmth of a hug. You begin to see that happiness isn't something out there to be chased, it's right here, in this moment, in this breath. Buddha said, do not dwell in the past. Do not dream of the future, concentrate the mind on the present moment. This is the gift of presence. It's not a destination, it's a way of being. It's the ability to open your eyes and truly see the world as it is, without the lens of past pain or future worry. We've journeyed through the art of stopping, we've explored the beauty of presence. But now, let's ask, what happens when presence meets connection? You see, the act of stopping to see doesn't just transform our relationship with ourselves, it transforms the way we relate to the world and the people around us. It's the difference between being in a room full of people, and being truly present with them. Let me tell you a story. A story about Lena, a woman who had always felt disconnected. She was surrounded by people, friends, family, colleagues, but she never felt truly connected. She would talk to people, but it often felt like there was a wall between her and everyone else. She was always thinking ahead, planning the next thing, worried about what was coming next. Her mind was never in the moment. But one day, Lena went to a retreat. It was a small gathering, just a handful of people, surrounded by nature. No phones, no distractions. Just the sound of birds, the rustle of leaves, and the presence of the people there. At first, Lena felt uneasy. She wasn't used to being still. She wasn't used to truly listening, but the more she practiced stopping, the more she began to notice something remarkable. She began to see the people around her, not just as faces, but as living, breathing beings, with their own struggles, joys, and stories. She began to listen with her full attention, not just with her ears, but with her heart. One evening, as the group sat in silence by the fire, Lena noticed a man named Ken sitting quietly, staring into the flames. She had spoken to Ken before, but there had always been a sense of distance. This time, something was different. She didn't rush in with a comment or a question. She simply sat beside him, in the quiet. After a while, Ken spoke. "You know, I've spent most of my life trying to find peace, trying to find meaning. But it always felt like I was chasing something. It wasn't until I stopped, just like this, that I felt like I could truly be present, and for the first time, I felt connected to everything around me." Lena listened carefully, and something shifted in her. In that moment of true connection, she realized that she had been disconnected not because of the people around her, but because of her own mind, her constant thinking, her constant running. Those were the things that kept her from being present with others. This is the transformation of connection. It begins with presence. When you stop to see, you begin to truly see others. Not as objects or distractions, but as living beings with their own experiences, struggles, and joys. You begin to listen, not just with your ears, but with your heart. Buddha spoke often about the importance of compassion, not just as a feeling, but as a practice. True compassion comes from understanding. Understanding arises when we stop and truly see the other person, when we stop running and begin to listen. Think about your own relationships. How often do you listen to others? How often do you truly see them, without judgment, without distraction? In your conversations, how much of your attention is spent thinking about your next response, your next task, rather than truly hearing what the other person is saying? This is why stopping to see is so transformative. It opens the door to authentic connection. When we are present, we can listen more deeply. When we are present, we can feel the emotions behind the words. When we are present, we can truly connect with others. Now, let's explore how to cultivate this presence in our relationships. First, it begins with mindful listening. Next time you're talking to someone, try this. Put away your phone, look them in the eye, and really listen, not just to their words, but to the feelings behind them. What are they truly trying to say? What are they feeling? What is the energy between you? In a world full of distractions, mindful listening is a rare and precious gift. It tells the other person, "I see you, I hear you, I am here with you." And when you offer that gift, you open up a space for true connection. Buddha taught that right speech is one of the paths to enlightenment. Right speech isn't just about what we say, but how we say it. It's about speaking from a place of presence, compassion, and awareness. When we speak from a place of presence, our words have more power. They're more meaningful, more genuine, and more connected. And it's not just the words we say, it's the energy we carry. When we stop, when we are truly present, we carry a different energy. We radiate calm, compassion, and connection. We don't have to try to be nice or impress anyone. We simply are, and that's enough. In the same way, right action arises from presence. When we act from a place of mindfulness, we move through the world with grace and clarity. We're not acting out of fear, out of habit, or out of the need to control. We act from a place of awareness, and in doing so, we build deeper, more meaningful connections with others. Now, think about the impact this can have on your relationships. When you stop to see, when you listen deeply, when you speak from a place of presence, you create a ripple effect. The people you interact with feel seen, heard, and valued, and when they feel that, they are more likely to extend that same presence to others. The transformation of connection is not just about making new friends or fixing relationships. It's about deepening the relationships you already have. It's about being truly present with your family, your friends, your colleagues, your loved ones. As we close this journey, remember, the key to connection lies not in trying harder, but in stopping, seeing, and being present. You don't have to chase after love, after approval, after success. When you stop running and simply show up, you realize that connection was always here, waiting for you to see it. Thank you for joining me on this journey of awakening. Remember, you are enough, you are whole, and when you stop to see, you can connect to everything you've been searching for. If this message resonates with you, feel free to share it with others who might need it. And remember, Zen Buddhism wisdom is here to help guide you on your journey to peace, presence, and true connection. Until next time, keep stopping to see, and stay present.